Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah, watch.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business. I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be.
Nobody talks about.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah.
If you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your it feels good, even though you don't have a name for what that is.
Katt Williams, who is everyone's favorite comedian, is stirring up drama again. This time he's out there calling out some shady stuff in Hollywood, pointing fingers at big names like Oprah. He's dropping bombshells, saying Oprah might have had a hand in sacrificing Corey Feldman.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. In a whole different realm of business.
You see, he has blatantly named how some big names are running this business, sacrificing young artists. But why Corey? Is it because he's a threat to the industry?
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff.
But why would Oprah, one of the most influential figures in entertainment, be implicated in such accusations?
First of all, for me, the person that was doing it to me the most, well, I mean, I could say that the two people that did it to me were both close friends of mine. Or so I thought.
According to Feldman, Hollywood has a history of sacrificing those who challenge its authority or refuse to play by its rules. But what exactly has Feldman revealed, and why might it put him in danger?
They're still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
So the stakes are high, and the questions are many. How far will Hollywood go to maintain its grip on power?
From what I've seen, every time somebody tries to bring up a public name and they have a lot of money and power and a publicity machine behind them, the person who does the accusing is the one that ends up looking bad.
What secrets might Oprah and others be desperate to keep hidden? And perhaps most importantly, what might happen to Corey Feldman as he continues to speak out?
They would pull away the better-looking younger kids and keep them for their own after party, and it would turn into a pool party. And then they'd have their rules. Oh, there's no swimsuits on in the pool.
As these questions linger, one thing is clear. The story is far from over. So hold on to your seats because this video is about to deliver some of the most ruthless revelations about the industry.
Casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
From his own harrowing experiences as a child actor to the systemic issues he believes plague the industry, Feldman has painted a damning picture of a world where power and influence come at a devastating personal cost. And recently, he's turned his sights on Oprah, accusing her of being complicit in Hollywood's culture of silence.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you.
We all know that young artists in the entertainment industry have been opening up about the dark side of Hollywood, sharing some pretty unsettling experiences. But not all these stories get the attention they deserve. Take Corey Feldman, for instance. He tried to speak out about the he faced in the industry, but his claims were often ignored or dismissed. Despite that, he kept going and found a way to tell his truth.
And Marty Weiss was a guy who'd been me since I was 11 years old. He was part of the science fiction awards or whatever. It was called the Saturn Award.
Many aspiring actors view Hollywood as the ultimate dream, but recent revelations have shown the industry's darker side. Numerous celebrities have shared disturbing experiences, exposing harsh realities that have sparked discussions and, at times, backlash from the public.
He was literally just like a hanger-on dude that basically got into my life because he worked for the Saturn Awards and was trying to give me an award. So he called me up at...
Corey Feldman's claims about his experiences in Hollywood haven't gotten the attention they deserve. He started out as a child actor and became famous for his role in the 1985 film The Goonies. Sadly, like many young actors, Corey faced inappropriate behavior from people in the industry and even from his own family. His story sheds light on the darker aspects of Hollywood that young actors may encounter.
So by Goonies, I started to lose a little bit of it, and then by Stand By Me is where I came into my...
Were you already doing coke on Stand By Me?
No, hell no.
Okay.
Corey Feldman began his acting career at the incredibly young age of 3. At that age, a child can't give informed consent or fully grasp the implications of entering the entertainment industry. The responsibility typically falls on the parents, and it's clear Corey's mother understood the potential financial benefits of her child's career. Starting so young profoundly influenced Corey's life, exposing him to the challenges and darker sides of Hollywood that he later faced.
Because my mom was doing it with somebody on the set of The Lost Boys.
Okay.
This hot little Asian woman who I was sitting there one night because I was like falling asleep and I was depressed.
During his peak career years, he likely earned a significant amount of money. However, Corey has claimed that his mother exploited his earnings, a widespread issue among child stars in entertainment. To combat such challenges and protect their finances, some child stars, including Corey, have pursued legal emancipation from parental control. These efforts have played a role in improving working conditions for young actors, prompting the industry to become more attentive to their rights and well-being.
I was a little frustrated, like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna stay up all night? And this little Asian lady comes up to me and she's like, hey, you should just do what your mom does to stay awake. And I was like, what's that? And she's like,
in the 1980s, actors, especially young ones, had less awareness and knowledge about protecting themselves from potential exploitation in Hollywood. Corey Feldman's experiences during that time served as a cautionary tale for future generations of actors entering the industry. His story underscores the importance of safeguarding young talents and ensuring their well-being in an environment that can unfortunately be...
You know, when you get to those ages, all of a sudden they start more like you're an adult, right? And the work code still applies.
In 2013, Corey took a courageous step by releasing a memoir detailing the mistreatment he and his co-star Corey Haim endured from powerful men in Hollywood when they were just 11 to 13 years old. Feldman's revelations shed light on the behavior within the industry and the vulnerability of young actors, sparking crucial conversations about the urgent need for greater protections and accountability in Hollywood.
I was like, oh, okay, well, she makes it sound so easy and harmless, I might as well. If my mom's doing it, how bad could it be, you know?
His revelations about the he faced during his career, especially during his childhood years, extended beyond Hollywood. He also disclosed that his struggles with substance A later in life were partly a result of the trauma he endured during those difficult years.
First, like, we did it, we had fun. It was like, you know, we were talking, we were sitting in this girl's apartment. She takes me out driving. She taught me how to drive a stick shift high on for the first time.
And during one of his interviews, he said,
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be.
Nobody talks about.
It's the big secret.
His decision to speak out and potentially disclose the names of those who harmed him and Corey Haim underscores the persistent issues of mistreatment in the entertainment industry, especially concerning child actors. Similar to Brooke Shields, who also faced challenges and exploitation at a young age, Feldman's revelations emphasize the urgent need for heightened awareness and protection for young performers. By bringing these issues to light, Feldman has sparked essential conversations that could catalyze significant changes in how the industry addresses and prevents mistreatment, ensuring the well-being and safety of its youngest members.
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff.
He has always been pretty vocal about the dark side of Hollywood. But as he got more outspoken, some people in the industry tried to shut him down. One of those people was Barbara Walters, who is said to be Oprah's associate.
And they are...
I don't want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're...
Yes.
Barbara Walters, known for her hard-hitting interviews, might have crossed the line in a recently discovered video clip from an October 2013 episode of The View. In the clip, she tackles the sensitive subject of Corey Feldman's past experiences. Feldman was on the show to talk about his memoir, Choreography.
That's what, and that's what you were saying in your book. When you talk to parents,
They don't want me here right now. Trust
Corey.
me.
He also mentioned they used to throw these parties where you'd walk in, and it'd be mostly kids with just a few adult men around. You'd see the same thing at film awards and children's charity events. And you see a lot of people notice that Barbara Walters seemed more focused on protecting Hollywood's image than addressing Corey Feldman's claims about childhood SA during her interview with him.
You're damaging an entire our industry.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to.
I'm
just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.
The video clip started going viral right as a flood of mistreatment allegations against big Hollywood names like Harvey Weinstein was coming out. Other actors were also opening up about their experiences of SA in the industry. Lots of people on social media backed Corey Feldman's claims, pointing out that his story was one of the first they thought of when the New York Times and the New Yorker published their explosive reports about Weinstein. One person among internet users wrote, "Barbara Walters cared more about protecting Hollywood elites than going after the peas." Another one added, "Barbara Walters was great." Then she downplayed Hollywood peas in the Corey Feldman interview. She had been bought for years by the elites. The social media community started calling for Barbara Walters to apologize after a video resurfaced showing Corey Feldman talking about the mistreatment of kids in Hollywood. This wasn't the first time Walters faced public backlash for her interviewing style. The longtime ABC host had been criticized before for appearing to side with powerful Hollywood figures.
No more.
No,
Finished?
no.
Prozac?
No. Stop.
Prescription?
Didn't work. The Prozac didn't work.
Are you a good mother?
Yes, I'm an excellent mother.
Ever do in front of your child?
Walters, known for her tenacity as an interviewer, faced backlash in 2000 when she repeatedly questioned Ricky Martin about his SO, leaving the singer feeling violated. During the interview, Walters persistently pushed Martin about rumors regarding his SO, even as he was at the height of his fame following his hit, Livin' La Vida Loca. Despite Martin's consistent denials, Walters kept pressing the issue, but she is believed to be handled by an upper hand who is Oprah. Yes, Oprah has been embroiled in some really weird stuff. She is making headlines again for all the wrong reasons in the media biz. Dave's apparently ticked off about how effortlessly sugar-coated folks like Oprah can navigate things. Yeah, did you see how Oprah seemed to be pointing fingers at Dave's downfall? It's like she knew something fishy was going on. And looking back, Oprah's been through her fair share of controversies, accusations of smear campaigns against critics, sabotaging careers, and even some really disturbing claims.
Oprah legitimized the notorious criminal Joe Teixeira, aka John of God, as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer.
Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey decided to open a boarding school in South Africa, inspired by Nelson Mandela. She named it the Leadership Academy for Girls. Despite opposition from the South African government due to its high costs in a poor area, the school opened with facilities like salons and gyms, which raised eyebrows. There have been scandals at the school over the years, though conspiracy theories about HT are unsubstantiated.
Oprah, look up, man.
So Oprah built this $40 million school in South Africa, and they had 152 students attend. Oprah actually handpicked the 152 students who attended her school, but it wasn't long until some of these students were being harmed by one of the employees of the school. Her name is Virginia, and she was 27 years old at the time, and she was charged with 13 counts of getting inappropriate with the kids. Virginia got physical with at least 6 students aged 13 to 15. So these students were handpicked by Oprah to go and live at this academy, and one of these employees who is managing the dorm is physically touching them and doing things to them and harming them. The A scandal that has rocked Oprah Winfrey's South African school for girls does not reflect badly on the famous talk show host, wrote The Times, a Johannesburg newspaper, in an editorial. It reflects badly on this nation, and it should not be surprising that it manifested itself in Oprah's school. Oprah should not be condemned for allegations made against this matron. She should be praised for her decision to aggressively deal with it. This incident was a black mark for South Africa, which has had issues with children being harmed by school employees. Oprah's decision to place these students in harm's way by an employee she selected was deeply concerning. After the news about Virginia broke, Oprah took action by traveling to South Africa with a team of investigators to uncover the full extent of what happened at the academy.
6 students of the 152 accepted students by Oprah to attend the institution, laying accusations on the dorm matron Virginia Tinley Mascabo.
So it's a good thing Oprah went down to that school in South Africa to investigate, because, her name's all over it. And yeah, unfortunately, that Virginia employee got cleared of all charges. Justice systems, they're messed up everywhere, right? And get this, Virginia turned around and tried to sue Oprah for defamation, even though she was found innocent. But hey, that's not the only scandal to come out of Oprah's school. It's been one after another since it opened. Less than 2 years later, there was another incident where some students were involved in physical altercations. A 15-year-old urged the victims to keep quiet and not tell their parents or investigators. 7 students ended up suspended from the school for allegedly intimidating others and engaging in inappropriate behavior. A letter sent to one of the suspended girls' parents reportedly read, "You have been found guilty of physical contact of a S nature with another pupil on campus, harassment, bullying other girls on campus, and of being dishonest by not telling investigators the whole truth." So people are puzzled why Oprah visited the school less than a year ago to sort things out, yet issues like this are still happening. How does a 15-year-old get away with pressuring their schoolmates into keeping quiet and lying to officials about it? And this next incident is even more disturbing. So apparently less than 2 years after that second scandal, cops found a dead newborn at Oprah's school in South Africa. One of Oprah's hand-picked students, who hasn't been identified yet, gave birth there. Instead of seeking help, she reportedly ended up putting the baby in her backpack. She had to go to the hospital later for bleeding, probably from giving birth in the school. It's a really sad and messed up situation. Oprah can't control everything in her students' lives, but she can choose who she associates with. So when some folks think of Oprah Winfrey, they can't help but think of Harvey Weinstein too. They've been linked for over 2 decades as friends. A lot of people argue that Oprah couldn't have not known about Weinstein's reputation, which has been shady since the 90s. When he faced all those accusations and cancellations, Oprah allegedly reached out to offer support, though her team denies it. But because of her longtime friendship and sympathy shown towards him, people wonder why Oprah would stick by someone like him, especially given his disgusting behavior. They had a really close friendship, and the photos make it seem that way. Some even believe Oprah might have encouraged actresses to get involved with Harvey Weinstein. Rose McGowan tweeted about it, saying, "I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of it, Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. From being pals with Weinstein to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' sick victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. She is as fake as they come. #Lizard. Another person who spoke against Oprah is singer Seal. He also accused Oprah of facilitating Jeffrey and Harvey. The nature of Oprah's allegedly purported relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is currently shrouded in a great deal of mystery. As can be seen from the conversation that has taken place online, many people are under the impression that Oprah was involved in Epstein's choice of victims. There was even the possibility that the Floridian residents who accused Oprah of being a part of an organization that dealt with HT were right in their assertions. Later on, however, Oprah disproved all of these rumors that were circulating on Twitter, saying, "Just got a phone call that my name is trending and being trolled for some awful fake thing. It's not true. Haven't been raided or arrested," she wrote. "Just sanitizing and self-distancing with the rest of the world. Stay safe, everybody." Oprah has tried to address Harvey Weinstein publicly, but it seems like she never quite gets to the heart of the matter. Some people feel she's more about protecting him than condemning his actions.
Whatever is the silver lining. And so I think this is a watershed moment. And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
It seems like Oprah is trying to shift the focus away from Harvey Weinstein and make it about everyone else involved. But there's a stark contrast in how she handles situations with people like Harvey versus someone like Michael Jackson. For instance, when a documentary called Untouchable about Weinstein premiered at Sundance with little media buzz, Oprah didn't draw any attention to it. Yet when Leaving Neverland, a documentary about Michael Jackson, came out, she actively promoted it and even hosted a special show interviewing Jackson's accusers. There were no plans to invite Weinstein's victims to her show. It's interesting how she protects her friend Weinstein while covering stories about figures like Jackson. And what is interesting about this is that Harvey Weinstein is a convicted criminal, right? We all know he did some bad stuff, but why isn't Oprah calling him out? It's been over a decade since Michael Jackson passed, so he can't defend himself against Oprah's accusations. Meanwhile, Weinstein's still kicking with tons of victims. Where's his side of the story? Remember when Oprah did that special after Michael Jackson's documentary? There's this clip from the show where it looks like Oprah's kind of justifying bad behavior. It was tricky to find because it seems like Oprah's crew wants to bury it.
If you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is your, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. If the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, then it feels good. And I have said for years, if the you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know.
People can see what Oprah was trying to say there, but some of her words were really off-putting. It almost sounded like she was downplaying the seriousness of the trauma. And yeah, it feels like she's exploiting Michael Jackson and his victims just to put on a show. If she truly cared about victims, she'd be talking about other people too, like her buddy Harvey Weinstein. The whole Michael Jackson-Oprah thing goes way back to 1993 when he did that famous interview on her show. It was huge for both of them. She interviewed his whole family over the years, and then after he passed, she came out with these allegations and victims. Some folks think Michael did wrong, others don't, but Oprah's relentless, exploiting him even after death. Now here's another celebrity Oprah brought into the limelight, John of God, this so-called healer. Oprah basically gave him credibility by featuring him on her show. But here's the creepy part. Turns out he's a criminal. John of God had this healing center in Brazil where he claimed to use spiritual powers to help people, but instead he was using them. It's unsettling that Oprah's pals seem to include all these shady characters who harm others. There's this awful story about him where he assaulted a woman during a private session at his center. He'd manipulate vulnerable people, using his supposed healing powers for his own selfish gains. Oprah's show gave him a ton of success and new clients, which is really disturbing considering what he was up to. Yeah, it all went down in 2010 during Oprah's Do You Believe in Miracles segment where she interviewed John of God. That definitely boosted his profile and gave him a lot more fame. But then we found out he was a total creep. Oprah did say she empathizes with the women who spoke out against him, but the damage was already done. And you're right, there are other rumors out there about Oprah and some of her other connections, like Jeffrey Epstein. But let's talk about how she is believed to ruin careers of artists who do not listen to her. So, there's been talk for a while now about Oprah supposedly not being so great for some young actresses, like she might have messed with them somehow. Even though Oprah's like the queen of all media, Cindy Crawford's got some things to say about her. Cindy spilled the beans on their first meeting in that Apple TV Plus show, The Supermodels, and it sounds like she's not too thrilled with Oprah. Let's dig into what Cindy had to say about her.
I was like the chattel, or a child, like be seen and not heard. When you look at it through today's eyes, when Oprah's like, stand up and show me your body.
Before Cindy Crawford appeared on Oprah's Masterclass in 2013, her first encounter with Oprah Winfrey was quite different. Back then, Crawford felt like she was being judged solely on her appearance, which made her determined to assert herself beyond just looks. She spoke openly about this in an interview, saying, "I felt judged by the way that I looked. I think it set me on a course to represent myself as someone who has a brain." Despite having been on Oprah's show 10 times before her Masterclass appearance, Crawford's reflections on her initial experiences weren't all positive. She took time for introspection, reevaluating how others saw her. It seems there's some tension between Crawford and Oprah that still lingers, with Crawford raising questions about how Oprah's actions might be seen in today's culture.
Show us why you're worthy of being here. In the moment, I didn't recognize it. Only when I look back at it and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so not okay, really?
In the pilot episode of The Supermodels, Cindy Crawford reflected on the first time she appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Crawford was just 20 years old when she and her manager, John Casablancas, appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show for the first time in 1986. Interestingly, it was not only Crawford who was learning the ropes. Winfrey's show had just been syndicated in September of that year. Winfrey directed many of her questions to Crawford's manager, asking him, "So did you have to Did she always have this body?" Winfrey then addresses Crawford and asks the model to stand up so that everyone can see her. Crawford commented on this particular Oprah segment in the Supermodels episode. "I was like the chattel or a child. Like, be seen and not heard when you look at it through today's eyes. When Oprah's like, stand up and show me your body, show us why you're worthy of being here." The former supermodel found the interview distressing, expressing, "I was so traumatized. I really felt I was not seen as a person who had a voice in her own destiny," as reported by the Los Angeles Times. So yes, now people believe that the same can happen with Corey as well, because if Oprah will know he has been so vocal about it, she will not let him go. One person wrote, "She's a handler, and I'm happy to see more people are becoming aware of the toxic person she truly is." Another one added, "She wasn't protecting her friend. She was protecting a person who she owes favors to." That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.